Hi there, welcome to the Schwowin's Nest. My name is Sandra and I'm so glad you're here. I'd like to take a quick moment and thank all of my current subscribers and all of my new subscribers. I could not grow this channel without your support and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you are new to my channel, I would love it if you could hit that red button too. For this project, it's super easy. I'm just taking this pallet frame that I had built a while ago. I've got a bunch of them in my stash. I painted the interior with a color called parchment. It's sort of an off-white, maybe ivory kind of color. And now I'm using a stencil. And at first I thought I would dry brush like you see me doing here. But then I decided that I wanted to go full on farmhouse and that this was just going to be nice and black. So I switched over to one of my makeup sponges and stenciled everything in the way I wanted. I love using the makeup sponges from the Dollar Tree to do my stenciling because you can get a nice solid color, but it's still a little faded in some areas. When I use the stippling brush, I always bleed. I don't know why, it always bleeds through. And so I've just found that for myself, this is the better way for me to stencil. This stencil is from a company called BeebeeCraft, and I'll have more information on that in a little bit. I'm going to paint the tractor completely black, but then I'm going to use some other colors to do his little wagon that he's pulling some pumpkins in. I'm using a nice rich brown color. It's just a simple craft paint, an acrylic. It's not anything special. I did use some black chalk paint on the tractor and the wheels of the wagon. So I'm going to continue working on this and then I'm going to use some orange, which is not really a real orange. It's more of a rusty orange or maybe just a muted orange, I guess you could call it. It's called Honey Brown and it's from Americana and it is my most favorite paint to use for pumpkins and for the fall season. I'm actually running out, so I'm going to have to head out to Michael's probably in the next day or two and get another bottle. I decided to put the word pumpkins at the top and then 5 cents a pound right above the pumpkins. I'm using a stencil that I just picked up at Michael's. It's a peddler font and I like it because it's a little different and it has these nice shadow lines around it, which really makes the words pop. For the pound sign, I'm using these small letters that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's a nice rounded font. I'm going to do the B first, then the L, then I'm going to use the C as the cents, and then I'm going to use a different Dollar Tree stencil for the number 5. This was my inspiration for this sign. It's an Etsy product, so it's available as a print, but I thought I would try to recreate something similar to this with my own little flair. To get the slash in between the cents and the pound that represents per pound, I'm just using another stencil and I'm just going to take part of the letter. I think this is a letter N. You could also use the I, and I'm just going to stencil in a slash, and I think that turned out really sweet. I really love how this is looking so far, but I thought that the frame itself, this wood, was a little washed out. So I'm going to take some of my antiquing stain and a rag and just apply it by rubbing it on all the way around. And that just brings out more of the wood grain and really richens up this project to make it look more high end. I love how this one turned out, and I hope you do too. I wanted to share with you all of the stencils that I got from BeebeeCraft. This was all in one pack, and they are beautiful stencils. There's a couple here that are fall related, but these are all farmhouse. Look at that cow. So much detail. These are 11 by 11 stencils. You get a pack of all of these, and I believe it was only $14 Canadian, which would be even less for my United States friends. So I'm going to show you what BeebeeCraft is all about. BBCraft is a website that has a whole bunch of different materials that you can use for crafting. They have jewelry beads, jewelry findings, tools and supplies. They also have some string materials and crafts. Let's take a look at the craft section because that was where I got really excited. As I was browsing through, I found a whole bunch of different styles of these clear stamps. Stamps are really popular again right now. They were for scrapbooking back in the day, and I know some people do a lot of scrapbooking now still, but I'm more into using these types of stamps for my decor items. For a cost of $7.79 Canadian, that was a super deal, and I was so excited to be able to find crafting supplies that weren't going to break the bank. I've just typed in Farmhouse Stencil and look at what comes up. You get so many beautiful selections, and the stencils they have here are just absolutely gorgeous. I'll have all the information for BeebeeCraft down in my description box. I'll have the website link along with a coupon code to get $5 off any orders over $40. If you have a YouTube channel and you're more than 100 subscribers, you can also get free products by doing videos for BeebeeCraft. Check out the BeebeeCraft YouTube program in the description box. The inspiration for this next project also came as an Etsy print, and what I'm going to do first is just remove the canvas from this frame. I used some hot glue to glue the frame back together because it started falling apart. Next, I'm going to take some of this spackle and fill in the holes that are always in the inside and the outside of these canvas frames because of how they're put together. They have slots in the corners so they can all just fit together, but then that leaves some gaps. So I just want to make this frame as solid as possible. While I wait for the frame to dry with all that spackle on it now, I'm taking some of the parchment chalk paint that I have and I'm just going to give this canvas one really good coat. I don't mind some of the texture of the canvas coming through, but I just didn't want it to be that stark white. I wanted it to have a little bit of an off-white color just because I just think that lends itself a little bit better to the color of pumpkins. Now that the paint is dry, I'm just going to take a small brush and freehand the pumpkin shapes while taking a look at my inspiration while I do that. And here's another shot of the inspiration so you can see what I'm going for. I'm using a fine tip oil-based paint pen from Craftsmart. I get these at Michael's. And I'm just going to, again, using the inspiration as my guide, draw in all of the black lines. And this turns out so cute. I think probably out of all of the projects today, this is my favorite. I'm super excited to share that my video is part of a collaboration with some of these wonderful YouTube crafters. It's fall, y'all. Make It with Mia, Christina Elizabeth, and Crafting My Best Life with Lisa Marie and myself are going to bring you a whole bunch of wonderful decor ideas. So once you're done watching my video, make sure you go down to my description box, click on the link to the next channel, or you can click on the playlist link to watch all of them, one right after the other. The inspiration photo had more of a neutral kind of light brown background, but I thought a black frame against the parchment color and the black lines of the pumpkins would look absolutely fabulous. The other reason I used black is because that will hide all the imperfections in this frame and make it look a little bit more high quality. The last thing to do is just hot glue the frame right on top of the canvas, and then I can very easily trim the excess canvas off the frame. This one turned out beautiful, and as I said, I think it's my favorite. You'll have to let me know what you think about it. For this project, I'm using a piece of really thick, stiff cardboard. It was from a desk chair, and this is some peel and stick wallpaper, and it has a really pretty wood grain finish to it. I decided to just put this right on top of the cardboard to get a nice white finish without the paint, because whenever you paint paper or cardboard, it's gonna pucker, it's gonna wrinkle, it's gonna get funky. So I thought I would just do it this way instead. I'm using a craft knife to just trim off the excess paper that I don't need. This cardboard is an 11 by 14 and it will fit a frame that I had in my stash. This is my inspiration. This one came from the Kirkland's website. The frame that I'm using for this is already a really nice dark wood, so I'm not going to have to do anything to it. What I am going to do though is just use some hot glue to make sure that this cardboard stays secure. I can pop it in, but I want to make sure that it's not going to fall out, because everything that I've been making for the last little while is to go into the two stores that I have my products in. So I'm going to be getting ready to take some of my fall projects into the store, and I want to make sure that they are professional looking. So I will be taking some craft paper and lining the back of this frame. Last year at the Dollar Tree, I stocked up on a lot of their wooden pumpkins, and I still had this one left over. I really like the palette design of it. Then I decided that I was going to be painting it with my honey brown paint, which is the color I love. But as I was painting it, I thought, it might look nice if the palette is actually taken apart. So I decided to do that after I gave it one good coat. I carved the pumpkin stem off it first, and then I used the utility knife on all of the little slats in between and just did my very best to get it nice and clean. What I did was just go through a few times scoring it, and then I was able to snap it off really easily. I used an old cutting board at the bottom so I wouldn't wreck my table surface, and I didn't want to use my self-healing cutting mat because I was afraid I was going to be digging too hard into that. So I did get a lot of paint all over my hands, but I think in the end it was worth it. I gave the stem of the pumpkin a little bit of a stain just using some burnt umber paint and some water that I have in this little bottle that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's really handy to have it all mixed up so you don't have to keep mixing it up each time you need to use it. So before I started gluing everything down, I did lay out all of my pieces and just made sure that I knew where I wanted them to go. And now I'm just applying it with hot glue, and then this project is also complete. I love being able to create beautiful home decor that's really simple and can be duplicated by anyone. So I hope you guys try this. If you can't find that same pumpkin at the Dollar Tree, you could take one of their solid pumpkins and simply cut some strips out of it to make a palette look. To make the pumpkin look a little bit more high end, I decided to push out the bottom pieces a little bit, only about a half an inch or so, and that just made the pumpkin look even more like a palette. I really love how this one turned out. It's really simple, it's super easy to do, and you can make it with just about any type of pumpkin that you have. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some inspiration to create some fall decor for your home. Please make sure that you check out the BeebeeCraft website. All of that information is down in my description box. As well, you don't want to miss out on what all of my YouTube friends have created for you. So hit those links down in my description box and go enjoy some crafting. Bye for now.